It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Well, welcome back to Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Nick and Sean are on location today. We're going to be visiting a few places around Portland, and we started with one of our main sponsors at Mobile West Autocraft. Now, are we, Peter?
Yes, Mobile West Autocraft.
All right, Mobile West Autocraft. This is the latest generation of all of the in-car entertainment rolled in and luxury features rolled into one brand new location. You have moved down onto MLK. Is it 1111111 something MLK?
2111
right.
Northeast MLK.
I knew there was lots of ones in there somewhere.
Exactly.
This is your brand new shop. Why don't you show us around?
Absolutely. Let's go walk around. Well, if we come in the front door, we're greeted by a variety of displays that show a variety of everything that we do. Not just, yes, part of it's music, part of it's audio, part of it's video. There are security displays, there are safety integration displays, backup cameras, parking sensors, but also lane departure systems and blind spot integration. All of these things that you can pay lots of money extra on a new car, you can add to the car that you own.
Now, I noticed when I was in here the last time when I came to sort of get a sneak peek just before you opened, you have a Mercedes up front here, which you have, maybe we can go and look at it. You've
Absolutely.
put something very cool in it. You have a mirror in it, but it's not just a regular rear view mirror. You've actually done something a little different.
Absolutely. It's a rear view mirror that we can add a backup camera to, but most importantly, it has a DVR in it. It will record what goes on in front of you. If you get in an accident, you'll have live tape of exactly what happened.
Now, I don't know, Sean and I talked about this. Is that a good or a bad thing?
It just depends on how you're using it. The way you explained it was it recorded how you drove, so it was your facial expressions and everything.
No, it records out. It points out.
See, I can live with that because there's a lot of crazy people that just, for some reason, love to pull out in front of you, and I think it would help, especially insurance, be like, look, it wasn't my fault.
Now, I noticed when I've taken town cars and things from airports in the past, a lot of these guys have these installed already.
Oh yeah, it's a big safety thing. It is also very good for your insurance because you've got a live feed of what actually happened. And then for some of you that just like YouTube, it allows you to, if bad things happen, hey, I've got it on tape, we can go upload it, let's go make some money. All of those crazy YouTube accident videos are uploaded by these.
I love watching, especially the Russian ones,
Yeah.
of guys. My favorite one is, I think, the guy overtaking on the inside really fast, and he ends up driving up the middle of a crash barrier and getting the car stuck on it. So what happens when you have an accident? Do you have to, like, push a button, or how easy is it to get the footage off of it?
Press the button, pop the micro SD card out.
And then you just put it in your computer.
Simple and easy.
Now, how long does it record? Like 2 or 3 hours, or what?
Oh no, like a 32 gig SD card in standard resolution will have 24 hours or so of live video on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you can download that and see anything immediately. We're at the Mobile West headquarters. They've been around since 1975, now on MLK. So you have a huge reception area here, which has all these displays lining the walls. We can hear some of the music playing from the speakers that you can demonstrate to people that come in. You have a lot of pictures of stuff. So maybe walk us around some of the displays and show us the things that people can come and look at.
Absolutely. If we start off right in the front door, we can take a look at the same Mercedes, and that not only does it have the video cam in it, but it also shows everything you do in a really simple, clean picture. It's got a nice mid-level audio system that most people will hop in. It will cost about the same as a factory upgraded audio, but it will sound better than your house.
Wow.
Right. It also has a custom interior done into it.
Let's go have a look at the interior before we move out of the car. So you put beautiful leather seats. Is that like Alcantara in the middle?
That is actually Alcantara. That is not the cheapy microfiber. That is Alcantara. That's exactly how a Ferrari's built. That is exactly how a Bentley is built. That is exactly how you can make the car that you like to drive.
So tell me, you put a sort of a gray. What year is this Mercedes?
This is a 92.
And you put sort of a gray interior on it.
Well, we redid it in the factory sew patterns, but we did it with modern materials. So it is, we didn't want to do a color change on the car, and we wanted to have something that was gorgeous but subtle.
Okay.
So this is a standard medium gray 042, leather outsets, Alcantara insets, and also cutout wings because these are sports seats. We got rid of the plastic piping that is typically used in new cars, and did the piping in the same Alcantara suede.
Nice.
We also rewrapped the door panels.
Yeah, they look beautiful.
They are beautiful. We also had about an 1/8 inch of padding in it, so it touches and feels luxurious like everything else.
All right, so I'm going to touch this out, and now not what was normal hard plastic is actually, it feels like almost cushioned plastic. It's nice and soft touch.
Absolutely. Well, we're showing what's possible.
Right.
Not everybody is going to want wonderful. Some people are going to want just lots better.
Right.
So everything is possible.
And then a sound system as well you put in.
Oh, absolutely. In a no-cut, no modification way. Because this is a classic vehicle. We wanted to keep the lines classic. We didn't want to change the looks from the outside. So we did the audio and chose the equipment. It's a classic vehicle. We wanted to do a no-cut, no modification audio system that sounds lovely, uses the factory speaker locations, and so we chose the equipment and tuned it appropriate for the locations that exist in the car.
Okay, so a lot of times when people design systems for cars, they have someone that sits in the seat and they kind of balance it out and those sort of things. You really use the existing, so you retune this new system you put in there to have the premium and the best sound possible with those speakers located where the factory decided and maybe not where you would have put them.
No, that's exactly the point. So this system does have a DSP, so a digital signal processor, so I can adjust the distances speakers are from your ears. I can equalize each speaker independently, and I can make it superlative.
One of the things I think is really necessary for somebody to do is come down to Mobile West and listen to sound systems, because if you think you've been listening to music in your car, you are probably wrong. You have been suffering music in your car. Wait until you get a great audio system, right?
That's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter what you listen to, because a great audio system will play your rock and roll or classical or jazz or whatever type of music you like in a superlative manner. It will also allow you to have talk radio and conversations come through with detail and clarity that you've never experienced before.
Of course. I mean, it's nice to be able to hear those people on KXL like Lars and myself in the best quality, in the same quality as we are in the studio, right?
Well, here's the thing. If we do the audio system in the car, you'll be able to listen to Test Miles, and it will sound like you're in the room with us.
Right. Well, is that a good thing, Sean?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I have to agree with Peter. The first time I ever came in and he played an actual stereo for me blew my mind about how crappy my car is.
Right.
And just wanting to upgrade it.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are doing is upgrading. Let's walk around. We've seen a little bit of your Mercedes here, the beautiful interior, the sound system, and the gadgets there. What displays are these, Peter?
Standard audio, right? I mean, modern technology. Plug your iPhone in, Bluetooth, satellite radio, all the modern capabilities that we expect in 2015. That
so
your car that's 2 years old doesn't have it.
Right. I'm looking at some of the displays here, and you have full screen displays, and you also have the same sort of size radio that would come in the car as well, and a range of speakers.
Absolutely. And so this will allow people to start the process to have a concept of what basic for us means.
Right.
I mean, and basic on here, there's a $100 radio and a $100 pair of speakers, and they're way better than what your car came with.
Right.
Right? But be able to hear what a $150 pair of speakers, a $200 pair of speakers, what a nicer head unit that has much higher resolution than basics, what they sound like.
Right.
And so that you can explore it and have a concept of what good means.
And it's probably a little bit confusing because you're listening. I can hear all the different sounds going on in the room here, and that's some of the audio systems playing and testing. When we come back on Test Miles, we're going to continue our tour with Peter and maybe venture out into the shop and look at some of the things that they're doing on some vehicles. We are coming to you today from the new Mobile West location. It's on MLK. We'll give you more details, but right now you're listening to FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles. Welcome back to FM News 101 KXL. Today, the show is on the road, and we are at Mobile West Autocraft on MLK, looking through Peter's brand new shop. This used to be a car dealership, right?
Oh, yeah. Back in the 60s, this was the BMW dealership for Portland.
And now you've taken all that space, and it's filled with all the latest sound and interior gadget equipment that you could possibly want in your car. You can wander around walls and walls of speakers and stereos. I'm looking at this over here. Are you in the light bar business? Are you equipping police cars now? Is that what's going on?
No, actually, those are for your daily driver. Yes, some of them are geared more towards the off-road user. Some are used for your trucks. Some are designed for your sedans and sports cars, because better lighting is very important for safety. Be it we're going for a midnight blast down skyline, well, we want to be able to see. If anything pops out in front of you, you want to be able to see it at a much farther distance than your stock lighting can do.
And the difference is it's exactly the same road, the same car, the same situation, but I can actually now see a bicyclist and see a car that's off to the side of the road and a blocked road, whereas I couldn't see them before without those new xenon lights in there.
Yeah, xenons, and also HIDs, and more importantly, LED lighting is what's good now, because it has a much longer lifespan. It's a lot more efficient on the car's electrical system.
So this is one of the things you do, along with the speakers and the stereo systems. What else have you got on display here, Peter?
Well, interesting display right next to that. That talks about factory upgrades. That is actually showing a factory radio and showing the difference with adding better speakers, adding better amplification, maybe a little subwoofer, equalization, and what you can do with a factory head unit, how you can make that much better than it currently exists.
So you have a button that you can play what the factory sound would sound like, and then if you upgrade the speakers and add an amp and add a subwoofer, and then you can actually get the improved sounds. You can see the difference and hear the difference too.
You can see and hear the difference in a very short time frame as well. And a lot of the displays there in here is you can actually self-guide as well, in case there are some people that are nervous about coming into audio shops based by, our various competition in town.
Right.
They've had not the same experience.
People don't want the hard sell. They want to be able to come in and play with stuff before they ask questions sometimes, right?
Absolutely, right. Because everybody's different, and you do the best audio possible for every man.
So here's your display of, you have some push-button starts and you have some mirrors over here.
Well, even more than just the mirrors. Yes, we've got security, remote start, push-to-start conversions. A lot of people love that. So we can take the car that you have that has a regular metal key and give you the modern push-to-start proximity key systems in the car that you already own. Another display here that's collision avoidance that will actually alert you to things going on in front of you and alert you to slow down or move, or when things are moving in front of you. Another display with backup cameras and back parking sensors in a variety of different manners, both for aftermarket radios, for factory radios, and also replacement screens. Some people are fine with the radio that's in the car. Let's go replace the rearview mirror, and then we'll have the modern tech.
One of the things, and here's a question we need to get answered for a lot of people. So one of the things I get a complaint out of quite regularly is sometimes the Bluetooth, when you connect to the Bluetooth and you talk to somebody, you sound like you're underwater, or you sound like you're a million miles, or there's so much road noise. Why is that?
Well, there are two answers to that. One is, the simple answer is, your 2-year-old car was made for a previous generation of smartphone. So the Bluetooth isn't 100% compatible anymore. Short answer. Longer answer is, cars are a lot louder now than they used to be, and we sound deaden them and make them quieter, not only for Bluetooth performance, but also for driving performance. Make it quieter and more relaxing to drive, because, a brand new 2015 Subaru, for example, it weighs the same weight as a 1998 Subaru. It's just 15 inches longer, 6 inches wider, and 12 inches taller. So there's a lot less car there. The metals are thinner, the plastics are thinner, the carpets are less. They don't have any sound deadening materials because cars are made for mileage these days. They are not meant to be quiet, relaxing.
Yeah, they're trying to keep them lighter so they get better fuel economy.
Exactly. So that's something that we do every day, is make cars quieter, make them more relaxing to drive, make it a more pleasant experience.
More sound deadening on the inside. So I know you have a back wall of display of some speakers here, but I want to take a quick glance at that. You do some marine audio.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, there's a full marine audio display for marine audio upgrades, technology, sound. We also have a full upholstery shop on staff. We've had 3 boats this week that we've redone the interiors on, carpet kits, upgrade the look and feel and touch of the upholstery in the boat, and make them sound better.
Right.
These are things we do daily.
Right. And the upholstery shop, of course, we've had experience of last year when we did Project Discovery, and you guys kitted out the inside of the Discovery. It looks amazing. I'm sure if you haven't already seen it, it'll be at a lot of places this year where you can see it. And we'll have another great project which will come in 2016 for the Portland International Auto Show as well, which Peter and I are conniving about as we speak to do. We'll head into the shop quickly here before we have to take a break. And how many bays now, Peter?
We have 7 bays, as well as a full upholstery shop and full fabrication shops on staff.
Now, I noticed when we arrived today that you were doing some sanding.
No, I wasn't doing any sanding. I was actually on the router table. I was fabricating a few custom pieces for the vehicle to fit and finish and to be done like factory.
See, that's why Peter does this and I don't, because I didn't know what the difference between fabricating and sanding was. There you go. Well, so 7 bays, and you guys are working on installing some systems right now?
Absolutely. Right now there are several cars in the bay and a couple more to pull in right now. So right now we've got a 2011 BMW 3 Series that we're upgrading the audio. We are replacing the electronics in the dash with something far more modern that's made for your smartphone. We're also going to sound deaden the vehicle and have a tint job done.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're at Mobile West on MLK. You can come down to Mobile West Autocraft, ask for Peter by name, and he will show you some of the best systems ready to upgrade your car. We love coming here because we love doing things to a car. Don't need to buy a new one all the time. Sometimes you can go out and just upgrade your car for as little money as $100, and I will tell you, and Peter will confirm this, price is no object for you. You'll find if somebody wants the best of the best, you can supply it, right?
Oh, and I have it in stock. You can listen to it, play with it, have a concept of what the best of the best of the best means.
Right, and there's a huge stockroom of parts we didn't even get to look at. You're listening to FM News 101 KXL. When we come back, it's time to get a little bit British on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles. Welcome back to Test Miles at FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles. Transported ourselves out of northeast Portland on MLK at the very new establishment set up by Mobile West, which is their new headquarters. And now we're in a garage on the edge of Lake Oswego. And Sean's still with me, and Jeff Zerschmied is here. Jeff, this is your garage, right?
This is my garage.
And we've been also joined by fellow Brit Paul Deshane. Paul, have you spent time with Jeff in his garage?
I have spent some time here, I must say, yes, although it's much tidier than usual. He was running around, I think they were going to take photos or something like that.
Well, there's no cameras. That's a good thing. We're here for a very good reason, because coming up in several days or so is the All British Field Meet. It is not a butcher's convention. It is actually a car show, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, it's all the British makes and models on display, everything back to the 40s and even earlier, up to the latest British cars.
And where does this take place?
It's at PIR, out on the grass where the Beaches Cruise In happens.
And this is where local people get to display the best flavor of what came out of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. We all bring our British cars there. I'm a British car fan. I have 2. And so you bring it out on Saturday is the car show, And Paul and I are actually going to be doing some walk-around tours to sort of educate people a little bit about restoration, preservation, and buying of a British car. And then Sunday, there's a swap meet, there's a rally, and there's some sort of giant autocross going on the racetrack.
Now, Paul, you know, being a fellow Brit, you'll understand that British cars, somewhat of an acquired taste. There are years that are fabulous. There are other years that we pretend, the Austin Princess that never existed. But I noticed I got invited to an Austin Rover group on Facebook by Michael McHale, who's now at Subaru. It seems like British cars are becoming more of a flavor, even for some of those terrible years like the Mini Metro.
Well, I think terrible years are pretty extensive. I mean, you know, you can't really narrow this down. I mean, there's a whole decade of the 70s. It's like the decade that quality control forgot, where all the British manufacturers were doing was going on strike.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't they say about Lucas Electrical that you know the power never flowed through the wire twice? It was that type of thing.
It's trapping the smoke. I think that's the thing. You know?
You know, I want to object. I'll hold the side up here. I've never had any trouble with Lucas Electrics, and my Mini is a 1976 Austin Mini 1000, and I'll have it at the show. And it is a delightful car with wonderful quality
Paul,
control.
we found the one person.
No, the thing is, you and I can make fun of this stuff, but you used to basically stick it to any American who's bought one of these pieces of crap,
right?
And then they get all defensive. And
right.
yeah, but see, you know, if Jeff was making fun of all this stuff, we could like get all huffy about it.
Of course,
yes,
of course,
but we wouldn't because we know what the truth is. See, and the truth is, you guys are all sticking together, coming out here with your cars because you desperately need a friend, somebody who's got that piece that you can't get anywhere else anymore. Because the last British car here that was really a British car was made, in 1981 or something like? Well, I mean, MGBs are the last thing that really counts.
Right.
All the stuff that comes in later on is like German or something like that.
The Rover Sterling doesn't count.
Let's see, Rover Sterling.
Wasn't it made by Honda?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think it
the
was.
Triumph Acclaim too was like an Accord.
Right.
It'd be fun to see one of those actually, because apparently it's kind of like a Honda with a much fancier trim, but a few other shortcomings.
I do. I could tell you lots of stories, but we'll save those because this is not about the worst of Britain. It's about the best of Britain.
Absolutely, yes.
And it is a mutual support society. I mean, when you get out there, you're gonna see a lot you're gonna see a lot of people who really deeply love these cars and have a great passion for them. And we're gonna get out there, and you're gonna see some really beautiful cars. And you know, you guys go on and on about reliability and rustability.
Well,
and
you know,
like
and I have to tell you though, the truth is there was a very dark period. There was a period where we had a Labour government. Everything was nationalised. They took all of the great car companies. They dumped them into one big trough.
British phlegm-sucking Leyland.
Yes, it was. Leyland was what killed the British car industry.
Badge engineering, all of it. That's the only way you could tell what it was look at the badge, because it was all a Farina body anyway.
Right.
You know.
See, it was. But there are many decades that are great, and of course now great cars coming out of England again. Some fabulous new Minis, some great Rolls Royces, some great Bentleys.
Don't forget Land Rover.
Some great Land Rovers, some great Jaguars still coming out. You know, I know that the Chinese bought the MG factory and shipped it to China, so there's still a lot of life.
Probably closed right now.
Yes. So what are we expected to see, Jeff?
You can expect to see some really nice restored cars. You can expect to see some great cars for sale. You can expect to see
That's
the cars
on Sunday, not Saturday, right?
Well, some of the cars that are at the show on Saturday may have for sale signs discreetly placed. No, they don't. No cars for sale.
Yes,
okay.
No cars for sale.
Cars for sale on Sunday, along with a swap meet, and there's always a great bunch of stuff at the swap meet too. There's parts, there's books, there's memorabilia, all kinds of wonderful things, along with the giant slalom where you can see some of these cars get out and compete and drive. So there's certainly no lack of stuff to see. And Paul and I will be talking about the process of preservation, the process of restoration. And if you're interested in buying a car, I believe it's at 11 in the morning, we're running a walking tour of the pitch in which we're going to talk about how to go about buying a British car. A classic British car. So,
Paul, tell me about some of the cars that have been there in years gone by that really caught your eye.
One of the oddest ones was, and it's still in town, it's a Lotus 3040, the Pink Stamp Special, which a friend of mine used to work on back in England in the 60s. And I thought it had disappeared. And it's here in town, and it just knocked me down to see it, Dreadful thing. I mean, just extremely fast and very hard to keep in a straight line.
Right.
And, Jackie would come back sort of on a Saturday. How'd this time go? Oh, it rained. Oh, what happened? Oh, we went off the track. Oh. Well, or it didn't rain and something broke. It was one of those things where you just like meet her at the door with a drink and say, okay, Jackie, what happened this weekend? But it's really interesting because, I'd forgotten about that, and everybody I know who's involved with it is dead now. And it's kind of think, whoa. How weird is that?
Yeah, no. So there's strange classic cars.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of, Land Rovers and Jaguars?
Oh, God, yeah. The Land Rover's there. It's almost like a Serbian refugee camp. They all get in a little circle and they put all their tents up on the roof. All they're missing is a couple of cooking pots, and a smell of something drifting through the air. I mean, they practically circle the wagons. It's just sort of a tradition.
Right, and I think that's, Land Rovers have become the go-to overland vehicle now, especially the older ones. So people are putting tents on roofs and just really making them into the air, because that's what they were made for, right?
Well, yeah, but what they weren't made for was doing 70 miles an hour for 600 miles without braking.
Right.
Because everything's a lot of aluminum in those things and a lot of bits going around really fast because they're low geared. I mean, basically it is an off-road vehicle. It's what they used to say about Jeeps. If you have a choice of going on the road or going across country, go across country. It'll take the same amount of time and the ride's better.
Right. Right. Exactly. What about some of those super classic cars? I know that Eric Newland will have his Rolls Royce out there. There's always some of those cars that you don't get to see very often that may have transported royalty, that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, everybody says that. It's usually pretty hard to find the proof. The stories are easy to come by. The paperwork, a little bit more difficult. Rolls Royces are interesting, actually. Having watched another sort of disastrous set of Pebble Beach auctions for Rollses, if you want to buy one cheap, that's the place to go. For some reason, they don't seem to do it all well there. But the biggest problem with Rolls Royces, especially the later ones, is what it costs to fix them.
Right.
And that's just paralyzing. As Peter Price, who some of you might remember, was a restorer around here, told me once, he said, Paul, the wrong Rolls Royce is a bad deal free.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So what are some of the cars that are really to behold at the show?
Well, there'll be a lot of variations in things. For example, there were like 24 or 26 colors of TR6, and you can expect to see most of them, which is good if you're actually thinking of going to buy one, because you get a chance to say, no, I don't like that. No, that's not so good. Yes, it's the rainbow. Same thing with MGB, same thing with Spitfires, and and midgets and so on. And those are the cars that were sold in the largest numbers here. So that's they're most represented.
But we also get a great turnout of like E-type Jags. If you want to see some really sweet Jaguars, this is the show to go to.
I think it's Jaguar.
Jaguars.
Yes,
See some Jaguars, and classic minis, and all the varieties that go with classic minis are there too.
You have one of your cars right here in the garage. It's an MG. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to take a quick break here. You're listening to FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles. Sean and I are today in Jeff Zershmead's garage talking about the All British Film Meet that comes up soon. We'll have more information when we get back. Welcome back to FM News 101 KXL. You're listening to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles, and today we are traveling around Portland. I am in a garage in Lake Oswego, on the edge of Lake Oswego, and my guests today with Sean and I are Jeff Zershmead and Paul Deshane. We're talking about the All British Film Meet. Jeff, remind us when and where it takes place.
It's Labor Day weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at Portland International Raceway, out on the grass where they do the Beaches Cruise In. It costs $10 to get in if you're 16 or over, under 16 free. That makes it a great family event. Bring the kids.
And if you want to bring a car, you still have until Monday to register, or Tuesday, the 31st.
You can actually register online at abfm-pdx.com. And then, but if you want to show up, you can show up on Saturday for the car show. It's $40 to enter a car if you have a British car to show.
All right, you have a British car. You have two British cars, as we learned in the last segment. One of them is in front of us here. This is a very blue. What is this blue?
This is the color is called glacier blue. It's any normal person would call it turquoise, but the factory called it glacier blue. It is a 1959 MGA Roadster.
I would be concerned if I saw a glacier this color. However, it is a pretty color.
From the inside, they are that color.
Yeah, if you look down into the ice, it kind of has that turquoise cast.
Actually, it's not as crazy as it seems.
I just thought they'd had too many blue flushes, and that's what happened. So a very, very turquoisey color. Tell me about the car. Why is it significant?
Well, this car is significant to me because my father bought it in 1972, and it's been in my family. I took girls on dates in high school in this car. MGA actually stands for More Girl Action.
Wait, I need to ask you a question. Did you get action in the car?
No, you drive somewhere in the car.
I was going to say, because, there's not that much.
There's not a lot of room in it,
I mean, we're all a lot more limber and fitter in those days, I'm sure.
And more desperate, too.
Yes, and more willing to do things that we're not now, right?
But, the car
Sorry,
in
too
itself,
personal? Too personal, Jeff?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I have no secrets from you, Nick. The car is significant. It was the first car with sort of unitary bodywork from MG. Before that, it was all classic style, winged fenders and things. But this was the first modern car that MG made. And
so what year is it actually?
This is 1959.
It's 59.
This particular one, the MGA started in 1956.
Okay.
It's super fun to drive. It's very responsive, 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed transmission, and it gets great looks going down the road. If I drive this car anywhere, people honk and wave and give me a thumbs up.
That's a lot to do it. And the wide white walls. This is your basic West Coast U.S. package. Bright color, wide white walls. Never saw it like this in England.
I don't think there's anything but black cars in England, was there?
Pretty much, yeah. What my dad used to say was every color was mixed with mud.
Or rain.
Oh, rain, yeah. The interesting thing about this color, and actually I think Jeff might have been getting ready to touch on this, it replaced the TF, which was the last semi-streamlined of the old T-Series. And because of this envelope body and because of its aerodynamics, it was 15 miles an hour faster from the same size engine. Huge difference.
So this is sort of the beginning of the aerodynamic age.
Well, for MG it was. Everybody else had got on board about 3 years before. But, it's England.
Now, Sean, would you choose a car like this, or would you be choosing something more modern? I mean, you're a Camaro guy, actually, and a Corvette guy.
I actually like this car. I'm looking at it, and I love the color. I love the classic lines and classic look of it, and would love to actually drive this one day.
The white wall, well, I know a guy. White wall tires, they must be hard to come by.
No, the white wall tires are easy to come by. You just call up Coker Tire and they send you a set. I
pay for them, right?
Yes, you do have to pay for them. I chose the wide whites because the color is such a classic 50s color. The white wall tires look great, and if you look at the original sales brochure from 1959 for these cars, it shows one of these in glacier blue with wide white walls on it.
So sales brochure survived as well from 59.
Oh, yeah. I have the original sales brochure for this car. Yeah. Wow.
Certain cars, they were the best part of them.
Right.
Yeah. Stop here.
I actually have two sets of wheels and tires for the car. The wide whites are bias ply tires, and they are truly scary to drive on. Wow. I have a set of radials if I'm going to take the car on a rally or actually go for a drive out to the coast or something.
Right. And do the parts, is there a lot of wear down on these things, or are you able to basically keep the same way? Is there a lot of changing of parts, or is it easy to maintain?
Oh, the car is remarkably easy to maintain. You can get anything you need from Moss Motors for these cars, body panels, fenders, anything you need in the way of a replacement or maintenance part.
Can you get those double gauges now? Oil temp and
I replaced that gauge 5 years ago.
Yeah, which bit broke?
The tube. There's a double gauge that reads your oil pressure and your water temperature.
Well, one of them
this car.
usually.
And
only one side works.
Yes.
and the oil pressure gauge is actually a little tiny capillary tube, and so it occasionally it will break or crack.
Right.
And but you can get those. They basically take and rebuild them and put a new capillary tube on them.
How does registering these cars in Oregon work? I mean, presumably, they don't have to have seatbelts.
I just did this morning. Before our interview, I was up at the DMV. I just bought an Alfa Romeo. I bought Italian because the British stuff is too damn reliable. And any car that's over 25 years old, you can put on special interest registration. And then you don't have to do DEQ. You don't have to do any 2-year renewal. It's a permanent registration for classic cars.
Now, technically, you're supposed to be either going to or from your mechanic or to or from a show. But you could
really what I do with this car anyway.
Well, yeah, think about it too. Wherever you get stopped, you could say you're going to your mechanic, because sooner or later you are.
Yes. I'm just making a slight detour.
Exactly.
It's one of those, what do they call it when you put in your destination? It's a waypoint.
A waypoint. Very good. I like that, Nick.
All right. It's a waypoint for that. Just remind us again as we get to the end of the show. We're coming up to the news. Tell us about the All British Field Meet, where we can register, when we can register, how much we have to pay, and do we have to give a pint of blood?
No pints of blood required. It's at Portland International Raceway up at exit 306B off of I-5. Labor Day weekend, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. $10 to get in. Under 16 is free. $40 if you have a British car you want to enter. And it's abfm-pdx.com if you want to get more information between now and Labor Day weekend, or just come on out and show up. We'd love to see you.
All right. Before we leave, Paul, just a quick thing. So they do have British food out there.
Oh yes, there's bangers. At least I know there's bangers. I'm sure there's probably some pretty good beer too.
Is there a medical tent?
Yes, I'm sure there will be.
Okay.
So that's
British
British
food and British cars. You probably need a medical tent as well.
No. It's if the sun comes out.
Oh, that's
see?
it. Yes.
Nobody's going to know what to do if the sun comes out.
The original nation of vampires. You're listening to FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles. Thanks for listening.